Welcome to Rocket Recalls, where we will be covering how to train a really solid, strong recall for your dog.
Okay, so we're going to use things that your dog loves to do as ways to build our recall because, yes, food is fantastic and we will use a lot of food. Functional rewards or things that they love is even more valuable. So what we're going to do first is talk about kind of why recall is important. Safety, obviously, number one, right? Recall is everyone's favorite cue because if our dog is running away from us, we really need to get them back so they don't get into trouble. They don't get hit by cars, so they don't chase something they're not supposed to, whatever. So it's our number one safety cue. It's so important. Another reason for a really successful or reliable recall is relationship building. So just that feeling you get when your dog is running towards you is maybe the best feeling in the world, right? When they're choosing you over some exciting thing in their environment, oh God, that feels good. Definitely feels better than them running away. So we've got to build a really successful recall. The only way to do that is to make it fun. Because if your dog is running away from you, coming back to you needs to be positive. Of course, it has to be positive. So we're building it with fun. So the first thing we want to do, does everybody have good treats? Good. Okay, first I want to test and see if they will take treats. So in this outside environment, they may or may not. Because it's outside, it's distracting. So go ahead and just see if your dog will take the treat you have. Cinnamon's not? Okay. Good job, Roy. Are these guys taking their treats? Good. Okay. Sometimes with distractions, dogs don't take treats. That's okay. We either need, so in the event that your dog isn't taking treats, it either means they're a little too stressed out or there's too many distractions. Either way, we've got to boost the value, which is why I have cheese in my pouch. So if your dog is not responding to treats, you just boost the value. Cinnamon was not taking treats. Now we're giving her a can of wet food. She's like, yes, I will eat this. Ray! Ray says, hi, guys. Let me go hang out with the girls.
Ray loves daycare, so we're not. He says, it's another daycare, okay.
There's never anything in Roy's body language that concerns me. He's like, I'm a happy wiggly boy all the time. Good. Okay. So in that moment, recall would have been really helpful, right? Recall also, I think it's important to remember, is never going to be 100% because dogs have emotions and intelligence and they have autonomy. And so you can get a 99.9% reliable recall, but there's always going to be that off chance a bunny runs by or two cute girls are over there and Roy's like, I can't help myself. So keep in mind that you can build it really strong. It's probably never going to be 100%. So, all right. First thing we're going to do is condition a recall term. So I want you to pick something that is exciting. It's a word that they don't often hear. It could be come. If you haven't poisoned that cue already, meaning if you haven't overused it and they don't, if basically you've said it 100 times and they haven't come 75% of the time, we don't want to use come because we've poisoned it. So we pick a new cue. You could do here, you could do banana, you could say benaki, you could say aki, you could say whatever, it doesn't matter. I want to build a strong connection or a positive association with that word. So what I'm going to ask you to do is this. Here. 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 What I'm doing is saying the word immediately following with a treat. I want you to do that 5 times in a row. So pick a word, say it, reward immediately. Nice. After you've done 5, I want you to do one more with a treat party. What I mean by that is a jackpot. I have 6 tiny pieces of cheese in my hand right now, and this is what a treat party or treat experience looks like. Here. So I put a whole handful of treats in front of her. What we're going to do is, yes, variable reinforcement, but we're always going to reinforce. Because with recall, we don't want to risk teaching them that sometimes when the word happens, nothing happens. I want to build such a strong association with that word that you're going to treat them every time. And sometimes you're going to give them super fabulous bonus treat party. Not every time, but sometimes we do a jackpot. A treat experience, a fiesta, a treat party, whatever you want to call it. It's really, really fun and really exciting. That happens sometimes, but we reward every single recall. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a break from that word. We're going to work on a hand target. And the reason that's helpful is because we want our dogs to come all the way to us and make a connection instead of partway to you and then running in the other direction. So touch is what I call this cue, but we're not even going to use a verbal cue. We're just going to use our hand signal. So Austin, one thing that's important to remember too is we don't repeat ourselves. So she didn't look when I said her name because she's very busy with something. I don't think she even heard me. Hi. Yeah, good girl. So I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm going to treat her when she does look. All right. So for touch, what it looks like is I just put my hand here. She boops it. I treat. Obviously, she knows this behavior already. If your dog doesn't know this behavior, we teach it. One way to teach it is to put a treat between your fingers. Hold your hand out. Yes. As soon as they touch it to get the treat, you yes and treat. Or dogs are naturally inquisitive, plus your hands already smell like treats. You could just hand it out there and see if they go explore it and sniff it. The moment they make contact, yes, give them a treat. So we're going to practice that a little bit. You're not going to say anything except good or yes when they make contact. So put your hand a couple inches from their face. If they go to sniff it and touch it, you say yes and give them a treat. Yes, good job. Sable, nice. Nice, Roy. Yeah, Cinnamon. After you've done 3 to 5 of them, give them a little break. Good. All right, so that is a hand target behavior. Homework is to do hand targeting. I would do it 5 to 10 times a day and make it really, really fun. We'll troubleshoot this. If your dog is not touching your hand, and if instead they're ignoring it or they're shying away from it, try not to put your hand over their head. For her, she doesn't care. She's fine with everything. But that can be kind of scary, so always under hand. And if they're not touching your hand, make it easier. Put a treat between your fingers. And then treat them. The long-term goal being that part of a recall is coming and also doing a hand target. So we're going to put these all together, but for now, they are separate. Yeah, we're happy. Good job. All right, everybody just give their dogs a little love because they're working so hard and they're doing amazing. We're going to do one more round of touches and treats. So again, it's just holding your hand out. They make contact, yes, and treat. Let's do 3 to 5 of them each. Really? Nice job, Charlie. She's not into it? Just toss it on the ground over there. Someone will pick it up later. She's like, nope, I just want the canned food. Just give me the wet stuff. What can be helpful too if you guys, you know, end up being a partnership, long-term, a permanent partnership, is get a squeezy tube. They're little silicone squeezy tubes, and you can fill it with wet and then just give her a little squeeze each time. Easier than carrying a can, you know, in the long term. That's actually good for everybody to hear. When we talk about what we use as rewards, it's up to the dog what is reinforcing, right? There are going to be certain things that, you know, one dog likes that another dog doesn't like. My husky's favorite thing is chickpeas. You know, which chickpeas might be really great for him, but not for another dog. So pay attention to what your dog likes. If Cinnamon is only working for wet food right now, we say, oh, that's what you like, then that's what we'll use. And one way to do that with wet food is fill a food grade silicone squeezy bottle with something yummy. You could make a peanut butter slurry with water or yogurt or whatever, or you could do canned food, whatever. Baby food, doesn't matter. So you fill it and you give them a squirt each time. So, okay, good. We're going to do gotcha. So part of recall sometimes is having to grab your dog. And a lot of dogs, especially a dog who comes from a rescue situation where maybe their history is unknown, or maybe they missed socialization to being handled, or maybe they're just a little hand shy. This is going to be really important to build a positive association to actually being grabbed when we need to. Because sometimes it's a safety situation where, oh, you need your dog to you right now and you need to hold on to them because something's going on. So one of those things is going to be building a positive association, because I've seen a hell of a lot of dogs decide they don't want to come because they don't want to be grabbed. You can see it at dog parks or whatever, where they're like, okay, mom, I really want to come, but please don't touch me. That kind of a thing, right? So let's build a positive association. So it depends on who your dog is. Austin's been with me. She's known me since she was 3 weeks old. She has no concern with being grabbed, obviously, right? She's fine. But a lot of these dogs are not, that's not the case. So we'll go slow. So essentially what I'm going to do is teach her a really positive association with the word gotcha. I'm going to reach my hand towards her and lightly touch her collar. Gotcha. And treat. Gotcha. And treat. And I'm watching her face. If she shows me she's uncomfortable with this, I'm going to back off. What I mean by that is lip licking, averting her eyes, ducking her head, moving away from me, getting tense. I'm looking for all of that, which really isn't going to happen with her because, again, she's fine with it. Gotcha. Yes, nice job. So that's what I want you guys to do, is reach towards your dog, touch their collar, say gotcha, and follow up with a treat. Yeah, Sable. Sable's like, yeah, you can grab me anytime. That's fine. So the next level, we're not going to do that right now, but the next level is to kind of build that up, adding a little bit of pressure, right? Adding a little bit of little tension so they get used to that happening and associating it as a positive thing, not a negative thing. There's a big difference between this style of training and a more aversive style of training that uses collar corrections. What we're not doing is yanking on them. We're teaching them that if I add a little pressure here, that's okay. It's not scary. It's a positive thing. So that if you have to use it at some point because of safety, it doesn't scare them more. So that's the idea. If we want to build a successful recall, we got to make the whole experience great, not just coming. So that is the idea. Little bit more. So we're going to come back with our recall word, and we're going to add a little movement. I'm going to take a step back as I say my word, and I'm actually going to lure it. So I'm going to put a treat in front of her nose, and I'm going to say, here, and treat her the second she follows. There's no stay. She's moving with me. Here. Here. So just like that. Do 3 to 5, then give a break. Nice, Cinnamon. Nice. Yeah, Sable's got it. Charlie, nice. Yeah, Cinnamon. She is so stinking cute. Good. Remember, 3 to 5, don't wear it out. Give them a little break. Yeah, Roy. Charlie. Roy, are you having fun? His biggest reinforcement right now would be to do some zoomies. Would be to do some running and wrestling and big time play. We can't do that here right now. But if you were working with Roy on building his recall, for him, that jackpot would be to take his collar, say gotcha, detach him, chase him around for a little while, right? That would be the biggest, highest value reinforcement for coming when called for him. He wants that physicality, that wrestle, that run. So, I would say that's pretty common for bullies, pity mixes. It can also be such a really fun, lovely thing, right? Your dog just wants to go crazy for a little while. Yeah, let's embrace it. Let's use it as a reinforcement. It's fun. Yes, it can also be a stress response, and by that I mean a way to decompress from heightened stress. So sometimes when a dog, again, I'm going to say pities because I see it so often in them, when their arousal goes high, one way to kind of bring it back down is to just go crazy for a little while. So decompression. But watching Roy do that tells me that that would be a really good way to reinforce him if you were in an environment where that would be allowable. So yes, beautiful. Okay, we're going to give them all a break from working. So just give them a little bit of love. All right, we're giving lots of breaks because recall is something we never want to become boring, ever. It would work so far against you to make recall a boring activity. So we're giving lots of breaks. We're giving lots of love. Good job, everybody. Good. All right, before we start to work again, I want to make one last point that's really, really important. You can't learn calculus or a new language in a bar that's busy and loud, right? Recall is similar to that. We can't learn recall in a highly distracting environment. Yes, this is a highly distracting environment, which is why I'm making it really, really, really impossible for them to make a mistake. We're making it really, really easy. But the idea with recall is that you build up a really strong recall in a very low distraction environment first, before we bring them to that higher level. So you want a really strong, rock solid recall in your living room before you go into the yard or whatever. So just keep that in mind. We have to start with low distraction, work up. Good. All right. Give them a little bit more love. Tell them how great they are. And then we're going to do 3 to 5 more moving recalls just like we did. And just as a reminder, this is what that looks like. Austin. All right. I've got the cheese. I'm moving. I'm really exciting here. Here. Yes. Nice job. Here. Good. All right. Do 3 to 5 of those.